Welcome. So good to be with you on this Wednesday as we get together for a little midweek Bible study and devotional time. And I'm so glad that you've taken a few moments out to join us today to dig into God's Word and hopefully be strengthened and encouraged whenever it is that you're watching this, whether it's in the middle of your week, the end of your week, the beginning of your week. I'm so glad that you've taken some time out to join us today to do just that, to dig into God's Word and hopefully find some strength and encouragement that He has for us today. A guy by the name of Wu Chen, heard a story about a guy by the name of Wu Chen who was not a very trusting man, especially when it came to his money. And so instead of investing his savings or putting it into a bank account or something along those lines, Chen chose to bury his money. He took all of the savings from his work as a fisherman, plus a pension payment that he had received, and put the money into a plastic bag. Then he buried the bag near his home in the Sichuan province of China. When Chen went to dig up the bag 5 years later, he discovered his error. The bag he had used wasn't airtight and moisture had gotten in, and unfortunately most of the cash that Chen had put in there was rotten and useless. The story reminds me of something that Jesus taught his followers. He said in Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 through 21, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal," or in this case, where moisture rots and corrupts. "But store up," Jesus says, "for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal, and where moisture does not corrupt and destroy. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Notice that Jesus isn't just talking about how to keep your money safe. He's also talking about, most importantly, how to keep your heart safe. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And so instead of burying your money in the ground, you should store up treasure in heaven, Jesus says. Well, how do you do that? The Apostle Paul, I think, gives a good explanation of this in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 17 through 19. He says, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain." And by the way, all of us are rich. So when he says command those who are rich, my guess is those of you who are listening to me right now have a car, have a roof over your heads, have plenty of food to eat. You don't have to worry about where those things are coming from. We may not have as much as others, but we are rich by the standards of this world. Compared to much of this world that we live in, you and I are rich. And so command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, Paul says, and we know that's the reality of life. We know wealth and stuff is so uncertain. But here's what we do. We put our hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Paul goes on to say, command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share. In this way, they will lay up for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age. They will lay up treasures for themselves as a firm foundation for the coming age, so that they may take hold of the life that is truly life. If you want to be truly rich, it's not easy, but it's not complicated. Do good, Paul says. Be rich in good deeds, be generous, and be willing to share. And then that way you'll gather treasure that no one can steal and nothing can destroy. And in doing so, you will take hold of the life that is truly life, Paul says. And there truly are no riches greater than that. Hope you have a blessed day. God bless.